Hi everyone, welcome to Connect and Thrive Live. I'm Crystal Hobbs of Reflective Marketing, and every week we bring in entrepreneurs and experts to help you build a thriving business. And this week I'm super excited to have Corina Walsh. Yay! So Corina's with Shift People Development and has a brand new book which we are going to talk about today.
Yes, thank you, Crystal. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. So, Corina, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. So I help companies build engaging, thriving workplaces through leadership coaching, team development, management training, and of course through innovative workplace strategies. So I am a certified coach, so I do spend quite a bit of my time working one-on-one with entrepreneurs and professionals who really want to understand what it takes to become an engaging, empowered leader.
And you literally wrote the book on employee engagement.
I did literally. Here's the evidence.
Yeah.
I literally wrote the book on employee engagement. It is called The Engaged Employee Blueprint. Really excited about that. It just came out in October.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to write the Engaged Employee Blueprint?
It actually started when I was working for someone else way back in about 2012, 2013, I guess. I had a job and I was feeling really disengaged from my own career and from my own workplace. So the book is largely based on my own personal experience. I started writing the book before I left my job, and then I started my business because I really wanted to help companies build that engaging workplace that I wanted to have.
Yes.
And I could see that the strategies that they were using just weren't that effective, and a lot of managers and leaders didn't really understand what it meant to engage employees. So then when I left and I started my business, I started working with leaders, entrepreneurs, and companies who really wanted to understand engagement. And I finished the book, and so now it's here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. And we will provide a link so everybody can check out the book as well. So for those of you watching, if you know someone who could benefit from this interview, please share it now. We're going to dive deep into employee engagement and how, as business owners, the level of engagement of your employees can really affect your success.
Definitely.
So why do you think employee engagement is important to an organization?
So employee engagement is important to an organization because the engagement level of your employees is going to impact and touch every element of your business, right from customer service and customer retention to the quality of the product or service that you're putting out into the world, to your ability to innovate and the productivity level of your business.
Right.
So let's take a closer look at customer service, for example. We know how important customer service is. Your customers need to feel that you really care about them and you're dedicated to providing them with a good service or product. So just imagine that there's an employee on the front line of your company, your business, and maybe they're not happy and they're not feeling quite appreciated or engaged. Well, what is the impact that that's having on their ability to serve your customer? And then, of course, the customer retention. Because we know there's so much competition out there nowadays that if a customer doesn't feel like they're getting the best service, it's very easy for them to go to your competition.
Yeah.
So we know that companies with higher levels of engagement outperform companies that do not have highly engaged employees. They outperform them in earnings per share if you're a publicly traded company. There's higher levels of quality and productivity if you have higher levels of engagement. So it's worth it. It's worth taking a look at the engagement levels of your employees for the sake of your bottom line and for the sake of innovation and creativity and coming up with new ideas.
Yeah, and when I was reading your book, I was surprised at how low that percentage of actively engaged employees are. And it's really more of a spectrum, I think, than I realized.
Absolutely. So what the research tells us is that roughly only 30% of the Canadian and American workforce are truly engaged in their job. And I know, it's staggering. It's staggering. So you really have to think about the impact that that's having on your company. And the point that I try to get across to business owners and managers is that there are varying levels of engagement. You know, you have the really high level of engaged employee, the one that's putting in the discretionary effort that you want. But then there's the employees that maybe aren't feeling quite as appreciated. So they're showing up every day, they're doing the work, but are they really going above and beyond to come up with new ideas to take the company forward? Are they investing in themselves? And then way on the other end of the spectrum is the employee who's completely checked out. And we say, you know, in our industry, we say they quit, but they stayed, right? And so what impact is that having on your company as well? And there's a lot of reasons why an employee might be in that place. It's part work ethic, but it could have a lot to do with the culture and management style in your company.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're watching and you've ever had a job where you weren't so engaged, type yes in the comments. I'm just curious of the viewers here how many people have had that experience. Because I think when you've been the employee in that situation, it can be a little bit easier to recognize that in your own organization.
Definitely, and I get a lot of phone calls and emails. It was one of the things that inspired me to finish writing my book, were all the messages that I get from people who are feeling disengaged with their employer, disengaged in their career or with their job. So it was a lot of inspiration that I took from those messages to finish writing that book to try and help companies build a thriving workplace.
Awesome. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that, because if we own a business, I mean, sometimes we don't realize that there's a problem.
Exactly.
So how would a business owner recognize that their employees aren't that engaged?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So normally if you're a large company, the first thing you're going to go for is the employee engagement survey. There's nothing wrong with surveys, but you have to be careful that really you're putting in the effort to do something with the results that you get.
Right.
And there's other smaller steps that you could take before you even get to the survey that might be able to give you a few clues on the engagement levels of your employees. So in my book, I interviewed the CEO of the IWK Foundation, Jennifer Gillivan, and she talks about how she has career conversations with employees. Simple one-on-one conversations where she talks to an employee to ask them how they're feeling about their job. Are they happy? Is there something that she can do to help them feel more engaged?
Yeah.
Keeping those lines of communication open with your employees are critical. And the more effort you put in to open those lines of communication, the more likely your employees will feel comfortable coming to you to talk to you about a problem. And so the second thing you need to do, take a step back and take a look around your company, your workplace. Who's putting in the discretionary effort? Are people showing up late and leaving early? How is customer service? Are you getting complaints from customers? That can be a sign of disengagement.
Right.
Look at the number of sick days that employees are using. Are a lot of people calling in sick and showing you that they don't want to come to work? There's all kinds of little signs around the workplace. They can be hard to spot when we get bogged down in our everyday, day-to-day work, I understand. Another great thing to do, ask your customers, ask your vendors or your stakeholders that are coming in the front door of your workplace. What do they see? What do they notice? What's the energy level when they walk into your workplace, and get their feedback? Yeah,
Absolutely. I think those are super helpful tips. So if you found that valuable, let's see some thumbs up. I was like a little
Please.
Engagement from our viewers.
Exactly.
Awesome. So what is one tip that you would give a business owner to get their team more engaged?
First thing you can do, show some appreciation for your employees. Let them know that you value the fact that they chose to work for you, they show up every day to work for you, and go out and let them know that you appreciate the fact that they're here. And go beyond a simple thank you.
Right.
Let them know how their work is contributing to the bigger picture. It doesn't matter how old you are, how long you've been working for a company, we all want to know that the effort that we're putting in is noticed and valued. So let your employees know that. And let them know how their work contributes to the larger picture, because we all want to feel that we're connected to something that's so much bigger than us. And when you do that, it ignites that intrinsic motivation.
Yes.
And if you want to get that discretionary effort out of your employees, you have to activate that intrinsic motivation.
Right.
You have to let employees know that they're appreciated and that they are valued.
Yeah.
And that can be the thank you, it can be a good conversation with them, it could be a gesture or a small gift.
Yeah.
But nothing beats hearing from the CEO or the business owner saying, I saw the effort that you put in yesterday, I valued it, and here's how it contributed to our bigger vision here at the company.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's so important too, because sometimes we think like, oh, I'll just give them a raise or like, and those things, I mean, monetary is great, but I don't think anything beats that appreciation and seeing how they connect to the bigger picture.
Exactly. Like monetary perks, filling your kitchen full of food, those things are great, and employees do appreciate those things. But what we know from the research is that the motivation from the external perks wears off really fast. Yeah. So again, it's about igniting that intrinsic motivation, letting employees know that you value them.
Awesome. Great. So in your consulting business, of course, with Shift People Development, you help businesses do this. You help them build more engaged employees. So why did you decide to give them a book full of all this great free advice?
I decided to write a book because a book is a really great way to get your expertise out into the world, to get it into the hands of many.
Right.
So there's a couple of reasons why I chose to write a book, because you don't have to write a book to do that. You could have a podcast, you could do videos and do interviews like Crystal is doing right now. I chose to write a book for a couple of reasons. Number one, I had a vision. I had a vision of the busy entrepreneur, the busy CEO or manager, picking up a copy of my book before they hopped on that plane ride to go to a meeting or a conference, and being able to read the book relatively quickly and be filled now with a source of motivation and actionable strategies that they could put in place right away as soon as that plane landed.
Right.
That was the vision I had. So for you, it might not be the CEO or your ideal client picking up the book. It might be they're listening to your podcast or your video while they're doing their workout or while they're driving to work in the morning or something like that. Yeah. So I would encourage you to think about how you want to connect with your ideal client, to understand if writing a book is really for you, because maybe it's not, maybe it's the podcast or the videos.
Right.
The second reason that I chose to write a book is because I am a certified coach. I wanted to show my ideal clients that I had the discipline that it takes to write a book, because it is a huge amount of discipline to write a book. And I wanted to be, and this is what some of the things that I help my coaching clients with. So I wanted to be able to show them that I had that stamina and the discipline and the dedication to this topic that I talk about all the time, and to take the time to put that into a book. And I love to write. So really writing a book for me wasn't as big as a challenge as it might be for someone else who doesn't like to write. So if you don't like to write, get out the video camera or get out the microphone and do the podcast. Get someone else to transcribe that information, that conversation for you, and then you might have the beginnings of a book.
Absolutely. Yeah, right? That's a great point. And I think you're absolutely right that whether it's a book or a podcast or a Facebook Live series, it really does help you to connect with more people, and that's huge for any business.
Definitely.
Awesome. So where can we find out more about you and the Engaged Employee Blueprint?
Absolutely. This lovely book, just in time for Christmas, can be found on Amazon or Chapters online. Of course, you cannot walk into a bookstore and pick it up because I did self-publish. If anyone's local in the area, feel free to message me and I can get you a copy for sure in time for Christmas. But yes, Amazon.ca or .com, Chapters.ca, or Indigo, I think it is, maybe not Chapters anymore. You can find it online. You can reach out to me at www.shiftpd.com as well. If you have any questions about engagement, you want some more ideas, just let me know.
Awesome. So we will post a link in the comments and make sure you all know where to get the book. And thanks so much, Corina, for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Awesome. And thank all of you for watching. So we will be back next Friday with another guest, so be sure to tune in then. Okay, bye.